It's another palettes and perfumes video. This time I am going to talk about 11 indie brand palettes that I have been using over the past 2 months, and also 11 kind of indie niche perfumes that I just want to share with you guys. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Alicia Budget Beauty. My name is Alicia. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, palettes and perfumes videos, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. All right, you guys, so if you've been following for a while, you know I've been trying to figure out a way to blend, infuse my two loves, makeup and perfume. This is a little trial video. You guys will have to let me know how you like it, but I typically would show palette roundup videos, or I would film palette roundup videos every month where I show every palette I used for that month and show the corresponding looks. And I skipped 2 months. I've never done that since I started doing them a couple of years ago because I was afraid people didn't enjoy them anymore, but I had requests to bring it back, so I'm gonna do that. But to try to get my perfume people in on it too, I chose 11 perfumes that are either indie or niche. And I'm gonna go show a palette and then a perfume, a palette and a perfume to hopefully get you guys to watch the full video. Let me know how you like this in the comments. But let's go ahead and get started with palette number 1 and perfume number 1. All right, palette number 1 is the new Nomad Cosmetics Berlin Underground palette. Now, I did this because this is actually, I'm scooting so I can pop in some looks over here. This was a palette that came out several years ago. It was actually, fun fact, the first Nomad Cosmetics palette I ever owned. I purchased it myself, but this is the reformulated version. So what Nomad chose to do, it's their 10th anniversary, they decided to bring back some palettes that had their older formula and revamp them. So here's the Berlin. I always loved this color story. I love the moodiness. I love the grunginess of this palette. And what they did is they added more mattes because originally I think there were only 2 mattes, maybe 3, but no more than 3. And it was just a bunch of shimmers. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes in here. And then the shimmers are more sparkly, impactful. The old formula had more of just kind of a smooth, little bit of a sheen to them, but they didn't really have sparkle. I'm wearing it right now. This is the palette that's on my eyes. I love this look. This matte black, you can't get better. You cannot get better than in a matte black than the matte black that's in here. It is so pigmented, not patchy. Oh, I love it so much. And then I'm wearing a couple of the shimmers on the eyes. This is one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. If you're like a grungy color story lover, like moody, if you like this color story at all, I cannot recommend this palette enough. It's fantastic. Okay, so the first perfume I'm gonna talk about, and I will forewarn you guys, the perfumes, the 11 perfumes in this video are a little bit on the higher end. I have a couple that are more affordable actually, but for the most part, these are more niche or indie niche perfumes that are a little bit more expensive. You guys know my title is Budget Beauty. I show a lot of really affordable perfumes, but I have other perfumes in my collection that I love, that I like to share. There are people that like to see those perfumes too. I had someone be pretty upset with me in one of my videos that they weren't all really, really affordable perfumes. For the most part, I will show affordable, and I call affordable really under $50, maybe under $75 these days. Occasionally, for myself and for other people who like to see them, I am gonna show some higher end ones. Just don't get mad at me. If it's not your style, don't unsubscribe. Don't say something ugly in the comments. Just wait for the next affordable video because I guarantee you it's coming. Okay, this is Thomas Kosmala's Frénésie. I do not speak French, obviously. Number 5, Frénésie. Yes, this is what it looks like. Thomas Kosmala is a French perfumer, or French perfume brand, and I did get this for a really good price. Last I saw, it's not still available on Jomashop. I got it for maybe $60 regularly, a lot more expensive. So I do always try to get the best deal. I really love this fragrance, and I think it's so unique, and it's also extremely hard to describe, and not just for myself. I've even looked at reviews on Fragrantica, and a lot of us have a hard time discerning exactly what we're smelling, but we know that we really like it. The notes in here, it's a lot of florals. There's magnolia, rose, gardenia, I think lily of the valley, peony for sure. That's pretty dominant in this fragrance. And then I think it has bergamot at the top, maybe some musk and amber in the base. But strangely, if I didn't know, I would swear there was passion fruit in here. Once you start smelling a lot of fragrances with passion fruit, passion fruit can really kind of dominate and overtake a fragrance, and I don't always love it, and sometimes I really like it. It smells like there's passion fruit in here. It smells almost like a tropical fragrance with florals that aren't tropical florals. So there's no tuberose, ylang in here, tiara flower. These are more of those pink and white flowers that aren't tropical, and the peony is gorgeous in this. It almost has a slight clean soapy scent with something tropical that's not an actual note, and really gorgeous peony. I get peony and rose the most, not an old lady rose, not just an off-putting rose. It's really, really delicate, and it's very warm. It's beautiful, and it is strong. You guys, this is strong. I need 2 sprays tops, and I mean, it can fill a room. I smell it on myself all day long. It's classy and gorgeous and very unique. And like I said, it's not available right now on Jomashop, but if you can kind of stalk the site, then look out for it. That is Thomas Kosmala's number 5, Frénésie. All right, next up, a palette that I've used in the last 2 months is the Nomad Cosmetics. Again, you're gonna see several. America's Parks palette. This is another relaunch. So this is a reformulated palette. This is the one, so there were 3 that they relaunched. This is the one that stayed pretty much the same, mattes, shimmers, ratio, everything. Nothing was changed about that, but it's just the nice, buttery, smooth mattes that they have now that are very pigmented, improved their mattes over the years, and then the shimmers are just a little bit more high quality. I always love this color story too. To me, this is like a subdued rainbow palette with a little bit of neutral kick. Really pretty. I love this zebra and this kind of still a zebra print, but green shade in here. I think that's really fun. I love my looks with this. You can go really bright, obviously, or you can go kind of a little bit deeper as well. It's neutrally, leans purple on me, this shade up here. These are kind of more of your neutrals. So I think it's a beautiful palette to have. I love that it's the America's Parks themed as well. So you kind of feel like you're traveling along and seeing all the sites yourself. Again, great palette to have in your collection. All right, so the next perfume then is another Thomas Kosmala actually. This is one of his a little bit more popular ones. This is easier to get. I think this is on Jomashop around $100, which you guys, I don't want to discount that $100 is still a lot of money today, but it's cheaper than a lot of designer perfumes sold in Sephora and Ulta. So Neon number 4, Thomas Kosmala. I love this bottle. I just think it's so fun. I love the yellow cap. This is an excellent fragrance. My husband actually loves this one as well for himself. So I get pretty down the line unisex, but if you twisted my arm and said what direction it may lean, slightly masculine, but absolutely you can pull it off as a woman. This has a melon note, some ozonic notes in it. It's very fresh, kind of clean, but with that bright fruitiness in it. It smells expensive. Actually, I love it on my skin, but it's kind of one of those like sexy summer fragrances for men that aren't oppressive, because it is very fresh and kind of bursting ozonic wateriness to it as well. It's a beautiful fragrance, very vibrant. I can understand why it's called Neon number 4. It has this bright, vibrant, I keep saying vibrant, you guys. It's like I need a thesaurus right now. But that is the best word to describe it, besides being kind of oceany too. I love this one. Fantastic for the hot weather. That is Neon number 4. All right, next palette is the third improved. It is improved. The third improved and new formula of Nomad Cosmetics Fêtes de Provence. I loved the original one. I personally found nothing wrong with the original palette. I thought it had great quality, but I guess some people thought that the shimmers weren't sparkly enough. I'm not sure if they had hard pan on some of them, but I always loved this color story because I remember when I first opened it, my first thought when I saw it, I said, oh, that's a day to night palette. Like literally I see daytime and then nighttime. You're in Provence, wear these colors in the day, pretty flowers around you, eating outside at little cafes, and then you go have like your nice romantic evening and wear these shades. I think it's a beautiful palette. And when you mix both sides, kind of mix the day and night colors, it's so pretty. Really enjoy this one. The shimmers are really gorgeous. This Fleur de Mimosa, oh, that one is so pretty. It's one of my favorites. Gorgeous in the inner corner. Actually, these also work as blushes. You guys, I used a couple of these as kind of my ombre blush for my look. And I remember I did it even with the old formulation. It worked as well. You can even kind of get away with this shimmery shade as a highlighter as well. It also looks pretty in the inner corner. So really beautiful palette. Absolutely love that they did this and brought back some of the favorites and improved them. All right, perfume number 3 is by Jardin de Parfums. This is Tutti Frutti. Sounds like it would be just a simple fruity kind of throwaway fragrance, but there's definitely a lot more going on in this. This is another really unique one that I thought, what all am I smelling in this fragrance? And this is one that does have the passion fruit that I really enjoy. It has blackcurrant, the passion fruit, which you really get both of those in here. And then it has a milk note that it doesn't smell like milk. But what the milk note does in this is I think it smooths out those two fruit notes to just make them really elegant and not how passion fruit can kind of bother me sometimes. It really makes it beautiful. There's a little bit of floral in here, jasmine and lily of the valley. And then I believe there's amber and musk in the base. I may be leaving out a few notes, but I get this elegant, classy, smooth, fruity fragrance from this, and definitely get the amber. There's a lot of warmth in here. It's kind of sensual in a way, but playful at the same time. This is another one that 1 or 2 sprays is all you need and it lasts. And I wore this on one arm and another fragrance on the other, just kind of reminding myself what they smelled like. And this one overpowered. I could just smell it over the other fragrance like crazy. So it's definitely strong. This is another one that I got off of Jomashop. I think right now it comes in the box and everything for around $70, something like that. So that's a really good deal. The bottle is really beautiful too. I have a couple more fragrances from this house in my cart right now at Joma because I would like to test them out. Not always the easiest to find. Definitely stay on Joma, look on there, but that is Tutti Frutti. All right, you guys, last Nomad palette. they put out a lot in the last 2 months. So the one that came out before they re-released those other 3 is the Route 66 palette. And I thought it was a really fun, cute theme. So just like you're kind of following along in the America's Parks, you're following along Route 66 with this. And Route 66 actually does go about 2 hours away from me up north, cuts through there. So I think that's really fun. It kind of reminds me of, you know, the area I'm from. But I thought this color story was really fun too. And I will be honest, when I first opened this, I kind of was like, I don't know, like it's cute, but I really, really enjoyed my looks with this. And sometimes that's what makeup is. Sometimes it's you and the palette together that make the magic. It's not always just you're gonna open it and it's just beautiful and gonna work on everyone. Like it's kind of a tandem deal. So I love, again, that you have some neutrals in here, and they're kind of those warm, sandy neutrals as well, kind of those deserty vibes. The whole palette's kind of deserty vibes with pops of color. And sort of neon pops in here as well. I also see tropical in a way with this as well, with some neutrals. So this is another one where you can stick to just your neutrals or just your brights, or you can mix the two. And it's the mix that I always feel like are the prettiest looks, whenever you kind of have that opposition, juxtaposition of shades, and tones. So I really do like this one. All right, so the next fragrance is Artimique Coconut Blanket. I think this bottle is so pretty. It's very elegant, very chic, very toned down. I love the shape of the cap. I just think it's very, very, very pretty. And this is one that I always forget. I knew that I liked it whenever I got the sample from my olfactive subscription, and I went ahead and bought the full size. And every time I wear this, and I think it's in my brain now, but every time I wear this, I'm like, wait, what is that extra note in there that makes it so different and unique? I know it's coconut, it's called Coconut Blanket, but what else is in there? It's the mint. So this is coconut water. It's not that heavy coconut, not that overly sweet coconut, kind of that thinned out, very fresh coconut. And then that mint really amps up the freshness in here. You also have some rose, lily of the valley, I believe magnolia. It's a little bit of floral element. And then you also have I think maybe not amber, but I think there is vanilla, musk. There may be amber in here, and sandalwood, I think, in the base. What I primarily get, I think there is bergamot. I think there's a little citrusy something here. I get that watery coconut, and definitely that freshness of the mint. And then kind of in the base of it, it's probably the sandalwood that just kind of smooths things out. And I think the sandalwood is giving it that blanket effect. This one plays both ways for me. I find it to be almost energetic in a way, kind of spa-like. And that might be that citrus playing with the florals in here as well. But then I also find it to be kind of like a cozy fragrance too. It can really go either way. I think this is different seasonally. When I wear this in the winter time, when I first got it in, I found it to be more snuggly and cozy. When I've been testing it out the last couple of days wearing it in the heat, more of that minty freshness comes alive in it. So that's pretty cool, actually. It's kind of like a little hybrid fragrance. So that is Artimique Coconut Blanket. All right, next palette up is Call of the Sirens. This is Gourmande Girls in collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny. Doodles by the Bunny does the kind of mock-up of what the palette's gonna look like, and then she works with Christina, the brand owner, to create the palette. This is your sexy, sultry mermaid palette. This is gorgeous. The shimmers in here are beautiful. The shifts, the mattes are very deep and bold. It's so pretty on. The only thing, and it's not really a critique, it's nothing negative, just something to note, you're not getting very many light looks out of this. Like, you're pretty much going pretty bold or very kind of dark and sexy looks. That you're not going to get your bright daytime looks unless you just were to do a little light. This is a fairly light shade, but it still has good pigment. And then maybe this shimmer here, that's about as light as you're going to go. So it's gorgeous though. It really is. Love my looks with this one. All right, next fragrance is the Taliaferro. This is room 129. This is a small niche indie brand, a Black-owned brand. If you are looking for one that you want to support, I like to shout that out because I don't think they always get all the credit that they deserve. So this, you guys, this is so long-lasting and very strong. This is also one of the most unique fragrances with not being complex, and only having 3 notes in my collection. This is cherry, powder, and bubblegum. And what I get from it is like a Kool-Aid pack, a sweet tart, not the Smarties, but like a sweet tart, those chewy sweet tarts that used to be kind of about this big, and they would make the inside of your mouth like up. It does have this sort of powder balancing this really tart sweetened cherry. It doesn't smell exactly like bubblegum to me, or it smells like a maybe tearjerker bubblegum, a cherry flavored tearjerker. There is a major fruity tanginess going on in here, and I am telling you, one spray, this, you will smell it for hours and hours. It is so strong. And what I like to do with this recently is I tried doing one spray and layering it with something else, like maybe something vanilla to bring in just a little bit more softness, because this has a lot of tanginess to it. You'd think it'd be, when you hear bubblegum, you're like, oh, it's gonna be super, super sweet. It's more of this tangy, tangy, tangy cherry. So if you put maybe 4 sprays of something else and 1 spray of this, it's a really nice balance. I think this is another one where the bottle is really gorgeous. It's very simple, but I love just that little bit different take on the shape of the bottle. And this is the 100 ml, I think it's 105. The 50 ml, I think that he has are like 60. So it's not too overly priced. So that is the Taliaferro. This is room 129. All right, next palette is Sydney Grace Bless. This was in collaboration with Glitzy Fritzy. She does have a YouTube, by the way. And this is the palette. This one and 2 other ones, I believe, are ones that I purchased myself and that are not new palettes within the last 2 months. All the rest that I'm showing you, I think, are PR palettes that did release in the last 2 months. But this one came out 2 years ago, I think, somewhere around there. And I love Sydney Grace. I stand by Sydney Grace. It is such a good brand for those who don't want to go too far into indie with all of the multi-chromes, duochromes, all the crazy shifts, but you don't want to be boring either. Nice solid formula, never fails me, always looks nice and professional. Some of the palettes are more toned down color story wise, some have more fun colors. I like that this has a little bit of both. You have your neutrals here, but then you do have your little pops of like the green and purple. I love the silver in here, it's gorgeous. High School BFF is what it's called. You have some soft pinks. I think this is a beautiful palette. I will always love this brand. It's also a really good brand, I think, for aging lids. It doesn't show a lot of creasing. Solid, beautiful palette. All right, next fragrance is Comptoir Sud Pacifique. This is vanilla blackberry. And I really like this brand. Not a ton of people talk about them. My friend Sarah is the one that first told me about them a couple of years ago. They have a nice banana one I'll talk about in a video in the near future. But this vanilla blackberry, I do really enjoy. It's very simple, even though it has more notes that my nose doesn't pick up. I primarily get a blackberry vanilla, a little bit of a cashmere wood, so there's something kind of like smooth and kind of toning down the sweetness of the vanilla. I think that's the cashmere woods. But this also has pink pepper and like rose and lemon and bergamot. I really don't get that. I get vanilla and blackberry the most. And I don't mind that. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. I think it's nice and sweet, but not too overly sweet. And it's not too heavy either. So this is kind of one you could wear year round. It doesn't scream summer to me, but you can get away with it in the summer. I like it. It's really pretty. And like I said, there are more that I want to talk about in the future of this brand, and a brand that doesn't get talked about very much. Next palette is Drops of Fantasy by Dede Signature. Man, you guys, I love this brand so much. I love Dede's formula. I have been buying her palettes since she took a break for a while, maybe 2 years ago, somewhere around there. And I was buying her palettes before that break, and she really changed her formula for the even better. One of my favorite formulas out there now. The mattes are so easy to work with. It's like, I keep saying about her palettes, it will look like, oh, you spent a lot of time on your makeup, or you must be a makeup artist. It's just the eyeshadows. I'd like to take the credit for it, but they just stand on their own, especially the shimmers. They're so beautiful. When I saw this, I was like, wow, well, you know, that's bright. It's pretty, but is it that wearable? I'm not sure. I thought this was a very wearable palette. It surprised me. Sometimes with these vibrant shades, it's like all you need are like two. You need like one matte and one of the pretty shimmers. And that way you can wear it and not be looking like a full-on rainbow, but you really, like, people will ask you what you're wearing. I get compliments almost anytime I wear Dede's eyeshadow. People are just mesmerized, especially people that aren't that accustomed to makeup. You know, they've never really seen a multi-chrome. They're like, wow. And yeah, Dede has an awesome formula. I ended up liking this palette even more than I thought that I would. All right, the next fragrance, definitely very, very small little indie brand, is by House of Oubliette. The owner and perfumer is one of my very good friends. This is Guaribea, and I did purchase the travel of this. I'd love to even have it full size. He came out with a bunch of summer fragrances. He's always working, one of the hardest working independent perfumers that I know. This one just stood out so much to me. Whenever I got the sample, I was like, wow. I truly believe if this was a bigger, like a big brand and was out there in all the different markets and in store, it would just sell out like crazy. That's how good I think this fragrance is. He does make small batches, so he has to make, you know, just a few bottles at a time, so he does sell out, but they are gorgeous fragrances, very unique, don't smell like everything else. This is one of the most beautiful coconut fragrances I've ever smelled, and it's a coconut milk. It's so smooth. You also have some tea in here as well, a little bit of woods. You have a little bit of vanilla, some honeyed orchid, and a musk in here, a cloud musk, I believe is what he calls it. And it's like every single note is doing its part in this fragrance to harmonize, but to also kind of have their own moment as well. It is just so beautiful on the skin. It kind of feels, this one could probably honestly also be called coconut blanket, like the other fragrance I talked about, because it does kind of feel like you're wrapping yourself within yourself whenever you wear this. But instead of being, say, like a cotton blanket, I would get like a silky blanket with this. This is a silky, smooth coconut fragrance that is unlike any other coconut fragrance I've honestly ever smelled. And all of Eddie's fragrances, you feel like you're smelling something special and like you get a VIP into his fragrance world, because there's really nothing else out there like his fragrances. So that is Guaribea. Next eyeshadow palette is Cyborg Choir by Adept. All of a sudden I got an attitude. By Adept. I do have certain feelings about this brand. Not really anything you guys should be that concerned about for yourselves, but it's just my own hangups. But one thing I cannot deny, and I will not take away from the brand, is beautiful eyeshadows, and especially the special shades. Mattes are very, like, a little bit better than average, but not great. Shimmers are incredible. And I love how kind of in the dark web, this palette looks. You know, you've got some of your kind of electric shades in here, and they shift. Like, you think they look like you're seeing, and you'll get it on the eyes, and you're like, I didn't even, what? How did it turn that color? That's how shifty they are. And I love that they are paired with the deep mattes as well. So you can go kind of like electric neon, futuristic looking with this, and then you can also go kind of a little bit darker, mysterious. It's a gorgeous palette. I will never take that away, no matter what I feel about the brand. Sorry you guys, I'm laughing because I just like went way overboard using like an Italian accent a minute ago saying this fragrance, and I was like, cut that, but I'm still kind of giggling at myself. This is Profumo di Firenze Buontalenti. Anyway, Buontalenti. Okay, this fragrance is Gerber baby. It just is, but I like it, okay? When I say it's Gerber baby, I'll pop a picture. The banana cookies by Gerber that has a little Gerber baby face that my kids ate when they were babies is exactly what this smells like. And I did always think that those cookies smelled really good, and they loved those cookies as babies. But this is a soft, not even like a crunchy cookie, but like a soft cookie crumble, banana, kind of peach, sort of milky fragrance. The banana isn't extremely pronounced in here because there are a lot of other fruits in here. I think it's like raspberry, peach, banana. There's like several others, but those are just the top of my head. And I think those other fruits kind of wash out the banana some, but you still can smell it. And then I do get some of the peach. And then I really just get like a soft cookie that you want to dunk in milk. That's really all that it is. It's pretty simple. It's pretty light and intimate too. This is not a fragrance that everyone is going to smell when they're walking past you, but I find it kind of comforting, and maybe it's nostalgic for me as well. I do think it's pretty. It's very soft, very soft. That is Buontalenti. Did I say it right? Probably not. All right, next palette is American Psycho by Wicked Widow Beauty. It was nuts to me that American Psycho had its 25th anniversary with Christian Bale. It was a book first and then a movie. And I watched the movie when it came out. I used to really love it because I was very deep into film back in the day in my late teens, early 20s. So, or maybe it's the 20th or the 25th anniversary. Anyway, I still can't believe it's been that long, but I think she did an incredible job on this color story. And this is a palette that will probably go down as a very underrated palette. I didn't see quite as much hype. People love the movie and were very excited. Some people love the book too, but I say more of the cult following is of the movie. So they were like, ooh, ooh, but then I didn't hear the most excitement about the actual color story when it was revealed. And that is a mistake because this is a must palette in my collection. You have so many nice neutrals in here. They are not the same. There's definitely a gradient, you know, deeper to lighter mattes in here, some a little bit cooler, some warmer. And then you have some gorgeous, almost primary color, but they do go into a slightly more kind of grungy tone, like to the greens. And then this pink is beautiful. Pink works so good as a blush. I'm always using my shadows as blushes these days. This pink is so pretty, and you can mix the two of these as well to make a beautiful blush. The shimmer form, her formula is excellent, you guys. It's excellent. And I got such classy, glam looks out of this palette. I think some might have missed it and skipped on it because maybe they didn't like the theme. Maybe they were like, oh, murder's not my thing. So maybe they didn't want it and they think they're too glam for it. And it's a glam palette. I'm telling you, it is sneaky wolf in sheep's clothing, a glam palette instead of like a murdery palette. It's so pretty, underrated, fantastic formula. She's one of my favorites. Her brand, her formula, excellent. So that is American Psycho. All right, next fragrance up is the Merchant of Venice Gaiocoro. And I don't drink Gaiocoro tea. I cannot tell you if it's authentic. I'm not a tea drinker, so I don't know. I can just tell you if I like it or not, and I really like this fragrance. I'm a tea fragrance girl, so it was kind of an easy blind buy for me. It's rare if I hate a tea fragrance, but this is not like all of my other, I will say a lot of my tea fragrances are starting to kind of smell similar, but this one smells different. And This has neroli and black pepper that give it a little bit more of an edge. I think it gives it kind of more of an exotic feel to it. There's also peach, and I get more of like a peach skin, not a super juicy peach, more of this subtle peach skin with the tea, that little kick of the pepper, and the neroli is not too bitter. I know some people find neroli really bitter. I really don't in this. It's subtle. There's tuberose, and I have a really hard time picking it out. It is extremely in the background, but I think more so than the tuberose smelling like tuberose, it's kind of giving it a little bit of a silky smoothness that tuberose can sometimes have. And it has ambergris, it has vetiver, I think sandalwood, kind of has this more earthy sort of base to it. It's exquisite. I love Merchant of Venice. I love their bottles. I always just feel like I'm in my exotic flair when I'm holding their bottle, when I'm wearing their fragrances. So if you're a tea person and you like kind of some earthy elements as well, I think it's beautiful. That is Gairokoro. Okay, next palette. This is one I purchased myself. I'd always wanted to try Kosmala Cosmetics, and I'm fixing my lighting here. Always wanted to try them, and I finally pulled the trigger. I do have a code with them. I have not been gifted anything by them. I purchased it myself. This is Skulls and Roses. Here is what the palette looks like. They are magnetic, so you could switch it around. I rarely rearrange. I'm not one of those. I just use a palette. It doesn't have to always make sense to me. Like, I'm gonna randomly choose sometimes anyway. But if you wanted to move them around, you could. I know a lot of people love doing that. I was very impressed with this palette and the next one that I'm about to show you from them. I just got such wearable but impactful looks with this. It's more of that dark glam. I'm a dark glam girl. I love dark glam. I thought the formula was great. I love the shimmers and the mattes. It's one that I think they're kind of equally good in a palette. So I'm a fan. Really, really enjoyed it. Really loved my looks. Had a fun collab that I did with a good friend on Instagram. If she's watching, hello. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. I will be looking out for whenever I love their color stories. I might pick them up. So that is Skulls and Roses. All right, you guys, I'm on a mission. Urban Route. I need more people to try Urban Route. I don't know if I'm getting across how awesome her fragrances are and cheap. So when I said I have a few in here that weren't too expensive, this is one. $25 for your 30 ml. Fantastic price. Her a la mode fragrance is a gorgeous, salty, pistachio, ice cream, taffy sort of fragrance that I don't know why people don't listen to me and run out and grab that. This is Hummingbird. So this is the second one that I tried from her. It is so elegant, you guys. This kind of gives me proper refined French perfume. There's a brand I've been wanting to try called Fragonard that is out of France, and they're not too expensive either, but much more expensive than this. And from what I've researched about that brand, is it's gonna kind of smell like this. And this is so inexpensive. This is pear and magnolia and amber. And I think I'm leaving out, maybe it's bergamot. I think it's bergamot. It's one of the most beautiful pear fragrances I've ever smelled. I don't always love magnolia. It's beautiful in this. It has this bright sunshine cascading over a bed of flowers with a really juicy, perfumey pear. Not like a photo, I don't really smell like a photorealistic pear. It's like a perfumey pear, but in a beautiful way. It's such a beautiful, specific like spring. This is like gorgeous for spring, but obviously you can wear it anytime you want and it'll work beautifully in summer too. I need more people to try this brand, please. I do have a code and a link. They're always in the description. You save even more. So there's no reason not to try this brand. That is Hummingbird by Urban Route. All right, we are on the last palette. It is Bougie Boudoir by Kosmala Cosmetics. So I did purchase this myself again. I think this is another must palette for people's collections. If you have a million palettes, no. If you don't have very many palettes and you want to try something a little bit more indie, but you want to stay still kind of safe and elegant in color story, this color story is gorgeous, you guys. You get both kind of daytime, nighttime looks out of this. This could be a wedding palette, even though it's got darker shades. There's some of those beautiful mauves in here, some neutrals, but you can go kind of more of your smoky eye as well. And the formula is beautiful. I kept grabbing this palette. It was like, I can't stop grabbing it. Like, it's just so easy to wear. For any occasion, truly. This could be an office palette or like an event palette, night out palette. It's so pretty. I love the shimmers in this one. This is like, it's in my tops. It really is. That is Bougie Boudoir. All right, the last perfume is also my most reached for perfume in the last little bit. That's because I keep wearing this to bed. So this is Leda or Leda. Someone tell me. I keep saying Leda Leda, but no one's told me if it's Leda or Leda. But this is her 22 Oris. I also keep calling it Oris 22. Oops. 22 Oris. Another one that I really like the bottle. Nice, simple, elegant, chic. You guys, I have fallen so hard for this fragrance. It does have some of my favorite notes in it. I love freesia. It's one of my favorite floral notes. Oris is one of my favorite notes right now. And it is so soft, comforting. I feel like I'm wrapping a cashmere cardigan around me whenever I wear this. I feel like it's a kind of like a cloud as well. But something about that freesia can be very kind of peppy, and sometimes it comes across like strawberry-ish like, but I always get more like a bubbly, effervescent kind of quality from freesia. It's that with the pink pepper. I love freesia and pink pepper combined because it gives it just like a little bit of a kick of something as well that puts me in a really good mood also. So it's like it comforts me and chills me out, but also just elevates my mood. And then it says it has marshmallow. I don't get really marshmallow from this. I get more of a musk, freesia, the pink pepper, a little bit of pear, I believe, and then the Oris. It's so smooth and soft. It's elegance, class, comfort in a bottle for me. It's one that if I were to go through the whole bottle, I would absolutely purchase it again. So that is 22 Oris. That is it, you guys. I feel like this might be really long. I don't know how well this worked. Please let me know if you stay till the end. Thank you so much. I may talk about all these fragrances again in a separate video because I just don't want people to miss out on hearing about them because these are some excellent fragrances here. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. I thank you so much for watching, and as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping, and smelling and looking fabulous. Bye!